Hello, this is to show you guys a bit about watering. Now you might just think watering is just fill something up and chuck some water on it, but with chili plants it can get a bit iffy. I'm not going to go straight into the watering stage, I'll just talk a little bit first. This at the moment is quite dry. Possibly the last time it was watered would have been either yesterday or 2 days before, going by how dry it is, but also it's been quite hot, so it could have gotten dry quite quickly. The further I go down, it is a bit more wet, but it's not, I'd say it's not wet enough. And basically the standard watering, get my hands around this, quite heavy. I'd say it's just to lightly put it around here and make sure you get all the bits nice and wet, and so it doesn't overflow too much. And then it should soak down in, and then usually at that point you would wait to see if it comes out the bottom, which it probably won't do with this one. When it does come out the bottom, then it's most likely watered enough. This is if it's a hot day, I'd water it again if it hasn't come out the bottom. If it's just a standard day and you think, oh, it hasn't been watered in a while, then the surface water will probably be enough. After looking online at some of the forums, they're saying to keep it damp but not too soggy, as this can cause root rot, which we actually encountered on a few plants last year, and I've actually got one which is getting it due to the roots not expanding properly into the pot, and they're just staying in one location and just getting too damp. This will cause the leaves to start going brown. There are other things that can cause the leaves to go brown, like over use of nitrogen, for example. Underuse of nitrogen would make them go yellow. But that's pretty much it for how much water you would need generally. Every time they wilt, sometimes you have to water them twice a day depending on how hot it actually is. Usually when they wilt quite a lot, like, I don't know if I can explain, like they start curling in on themselves like that, and sort of going around on themselves. At that point I'd get out the hose and then spray it down with the hose. I personally don't water as much as the ones that are being watered here, and the ones that are being watered here are being watered via house water, and mine are being watered via rainwater. The reason for this is because some of the leaves where I'm living are getting a lot of white spots on, which, after talking to many people in the garden centre, it's been confirmed to possibly be edema, which is a cause of too much water and leaving it lying in the bottom of a tray. So I'd suggest to not leave it in the bottom of a tray unless it's like a really hot day, or for more than an hour, really, ideally. So yeah, I suppose we're going to move on to further watering and how often that's going to be done. So I'm going to pass you over now to my trusty colleague who will hopefully have a lot to say. See you in a minute.
Good afternoon. This bit may be a bit dull and sciencey, but quite vital for chili plants. My colleague has just described the general watering, but every now and again a chili plant will require to be absolutely drenched with water, and this one has been done for a couple of weeks. The reason for this is that when you use fertilizers, the plant takes up the parts of it it needs and expels parts it doesn't. The parts it gets rid of end up being salt, which, as people know, will kill plants. So what you need to do is to run lots of water through the plant every 2 weeks or more, just so that it's absolutely pouring out the bottom, which can take a minute to go through. But we went to a garden centre and they said that it could just be lime scale from house water or whatever, but as I'm a chemistry student, I knew how to do a test between the difference between lime scale and salt. So he put some acid on it, and it just dissolved, it didn't bubble, so that's salt. If you usually see it if you're growing it in a pot indoors on a tray, and the tray gets covered in a sort of yellowy kind of, well, salt, really. Yeah. So, do that a bit more. Now, we found that the salt build-up tends to stunt plants and just has a general deterioration. So that's probably it for that. The salt should be washed out, but usually you don't do this as it'll just keep the plant far too wet, so choose a hot day where it's going to dry out again quickly and just run the water through. Anything else to say?
Only that after you've done the run through, I'd say about 2 days after, to put a new layer of fertilizer on. One of the ones that are in the essentials video, I basically use one of either the liquid fertilizer or the solid one, which you just put onto the top, and then basically you start the cycle all over again, and then the plant will use that, and then about 2 weeks or sometimes even up to a month, depending on how much fertilizer you use and how dry it is in your area and the size of the plant. Yeah, so that's basically it. If you have any problems, then you can comment and ask. If we have any issues regarding watering, if we think, oh no, that hasn't worked at all, then we will let you know promptly. Okay.
That's it for us. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.